Hi there, it's Nicole for Lawn Fawn, and today's card showcases a whole bunch of stamps and dies from the Fall and Winter 2016 release for this holiday themed card. I'm using the Plan On It Holidays and Merry Messages stamp sets, the Scripty Merry die, and the Perfectly Plaid Winter pattern papers with some other Lawn Fawn dies to create my card. So you could see that I kind of laid out my dies and things there. I'm going to die cut my inside panel with one of the large stitched rectangle dies. I'm going to cut that from some smooth white cardstock. This is where I'm going to be doing my stamping and things. I'll go ahead and set that aside. I decided to do all of my die cutting at once. From the A2 sized large stitched rectangle, I'm going to die cut some of the Perfectly Plaid Winter pattern paper. Get that lined up exactly. I am using some post-it tape to hold it in place since this is the straight across pattern, and I really don't want it to be at an angle or anything like that. So there are my two rectangles. Then I'm going to use one of the stitched rectangle frames to die cut a frame that's the same size as the first rectangle I cut. This is from the Narwhal cardstock. You could also trim the pattern paper if you wanted to. I just find it easy because it's exactly the same size. I don't have to worry about any trimming that way. Then I want to die cut the word Merry. There are a whole bunch of new Scripty word dies from the Fall and Winter 2016 release. There's the word Be, Merry, Sweet, and Wishes. And I'm going to use the word Merry because it's going to fit in the Merry Messages greeting I'm using. So instead of stamping that word, I'm going to stamp around it. I wanted my Scripty word to be dimensional, so I have a piece of fun foam here that I am placing stick-it material on both sides to make it a sticker. And then what I like to do after I have the stick-it in place on both sides is to go ahead and run that through my Big Shot, and that's going to really secure the adhesive to the fun foam, making it a sticker. And then I can take my cardstock, this is some of the Storm Cloud cardstock, and place that on one side. So here's where I'm just pressing the stick-it onto the fun foam. I'll remove the adhesive, or the backing paper from one side rather, place that Storm Cloud cardstock scrap right onto my rectangle, and then I'm going to put the word Merry on there and die cut that. And I like to run it back and forth a couple of times. This is going to give me a dimensional sticker greeting. I love to do this with all kinds of different types of die cut greetings especially. I love the look. This is the greeting from Merry Messages. It reads, "Have yourself a merry little Christmas." And so what I'm going to do is carefully only ink up the first line with the Mermaid blue ink. This ink matches the Perfectly Plaid Winter papers perfectly. Then I'm going to clean my stamp and only ink up the phrase Little Christmas, and using the die as a guide, stamp that right below it. So there is my greeting. Next, I want to create a pattern all over this white cardstock rectangle. And I am using the Plan On It Holidays stamp set to do this. I'm using the snowman and the mittens stamps stamped with the Simon Says Stamp Intense Black ink. And I'm going to stamp these all over the background, just kind of alternating them. These are definitely for planners. Planners are huge right now, and Lawn Fawn has some amazing planner stamps, so fun for that. But I wanted to show that they don't only have to be for planners. These little images work so great to create all kinds of different little accents on cards. They would work. A lot of the phrases would work great for scrapbooking. I mean, there are just tons and tons of different things you can do. Once I have the snowman and mittens stamped, I wanted to fill in some of those white areas, and there's this teeny tiny little star in the Plan On It Holidays stamp set, and it's a little solid star. There's also an open star, but I am stamping the solid one with the mermaid ink all around my images, and that's going to just fill in and make the pattern really look nice and full. Just adding lots of little stars all over the place. Next, I'm going to color in my images with Copic markers. These are teeny tiny. There is not a ton of shading that has to be done here. I did add a couple of shades per color for the mittens and the hat, but other than that, I really didn't do a ton of shading. It's mostly just getting the color down onto the project and adding color to the background, to your pattern paper that you're making. So again, a couple shades of gray for the hat, a real light warm gray 00 for the face, R00 for the cheeks, and then a little R27 for the little holly and YG63 for the greenery on the snowman hat. So super quick coloring. After I kind of decided that yes, I did like this particular color combination, I went ahead and colored everything that was a certain color all at once. So I'm doing the cuff on the mittens with warm gray 8 right now. And then I will do all the mittens with B00 and B14. Once all of the mittens are done and all of that shading is finished, I'm going to move on and do the rest of the snowmen. So I did a few along the top of the little rectangle here, just kind of making sure that I liked how this was going to look before I completely committed to it. I'm going to do the hat next, warm gray 8 and warm gray 6, laying down my dark color first so that I don't even have to go back and do additional blending. I'll lay down my light color next and just blend the dark into that. R27 for the little holly berry on all of the snowman hats, and YG63 for the greenery. R00 for the cheeks on every single one of the snowmen, and then a little warm gray 00 over the face of each to kind of blend out that R00 and just give it a hint of color. I'll glue my frame around that now, and then I'm going to pop out that word Mary. And the back, of course, is sticky because it has that stickit on it. And I will place that right between the two stamped phrases. Place some adhesive on the back of this and center it on my pattern paper background. Now this is great as is, but I decided to take the Wink of Stella clear glitter brush pen and go over the word Mary, giving it a little bit of shimmer. But I kind of thought my Wink of Stella pen is losing its I think it's almost out. I think it's time for a new one. And so I wasn't terribly happy with that. It didn't give it the emphasis that I wanted it to have. I did go in and add a few more stamped stars here and there as well. So I am going to do something and dress it up a little bit more here in a minute. I'm taking the Stardust glitter pen because it's got a little more juice in it to add a little sparkle to some of the mittens and things like that. And I thought I'd even color the word, but that just wasn't working for me either. So while I'm contemplating that, I did adhere this to a top fold card base. And I decided glossy accents was the answer. I love glossy accents for adding that great glossy finish. And especially these larger scripty words from Lawn Fawn look awesome with a coat of glossy accents on them. So not only is my greeting dimensional, but I drew over the entire thing with glossy accents and then let it sit for quite a while so that it completely dried. And now it has a high gloss sheen that I just love. I will finish the card with a scattering of sparkling clear Pretty Pink Posh sequins and some silver star confetti. Just here and there, it dresses up the card, adds some very nice subtle embellishment, especially to a very pretty simple card. I would love to see these for all kinds of different occasions, especially that Plan On It set has lots of different images. There's Valentine's images, New Year's images, Easter, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Halloween, Thanksgiving, all kinds. You could create so many different cards using this exact same design, just mixing up the greeting and the stamps that you use. Thanks for joining me today for this clean and simple holiday card showcasing the Plan On It holidays, Merry Messages, both of those are the stamp sets, then the Scripty Merry Die, and the Perfectly Plaid Winter Pattern Papers. The supplies I've used to create this card are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Here are a couple more holiday cards showcasing Lawn Fawn stamps and dies that you might be interested in. Please subscribe for weekly card making and stamping videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.